But whilst we hoped to show it to you, it didn't come on. These balls so efficiently set up by referee John Williams. We're ready for the next frame. Steve Davis away again.
Steve Davis, 1.
Three frames in it now.
Touching ball.
And John Williams gives Steve a touching ball. We'll have to play away from that particular red. Precarious bridging.
Steve Davis, 6.
Well, he can just clip the side of this red. Had to be very accurate to steer it round the side cushion, in the black on the side cushion. Played it extremely well.
Steadily into the pack.
Touching ball.
This could be 6 away. It is.
Foul, Steve Davis, 6.
Well, Doug may be just forced into just touching onto a red. This could go on some time until one of them gets the chance to get the cue ball off a red back to the bulk end of the table. A little bit worried about clipping a red over to the right hand top pocket. Just a fraction too far. Would have liked to have kept the cue ball nearer the ball cushion, which would have stopped Steve having what is quite an easy safety shot.
And Doug can't get to that one. It's available this time.
One.
Nasty shot, this.
Steve Davis, 1.
Yes, those shots playing across the nap of the table, always difficult to judge.
One.
These reds fairly well spread.
8. Nine.
All square.
14. Fifteen.
Well, this is a wonderful chance here for Doug Manjor
22.
to reduce the deficit again to 2 frames.
Twenty-three. 28. 29. 36.
Needs to just stop on the top side of the black this time to get on the other red.
37. 44. 45. 52.
Well, that was the biggest danger, that shot, when having to get into the reds to just disturb them a little. And from here, I would think that Doug probably will be playing sailing. A little bit short on that black. but he's held it nicely on the other red.
60. 61.
'Just went through a little bit too far with that red. Would have liked to have been on the black, to have got onto the red into the other corner pocket.
Now 54 points ahead with only 51 points left on the table.
The Mountjoy 68.
Well, the red hanging on the lip of the pocket. Steve Davis requiring one snooker. Obviously take this in a black. He's gone a bit strong.
What? Eight. Steve Davis, 8.
.46 points in it now. Very nearly into the pocket. 12 feet of table now between the cue ball and the
Mountjoy
red.
68, Steve Davis 22.
Is quite extraordinary. One snooker required.
What? Eight. 8.
Yes, that was a bad miss that Dev made over the corner pocket. Could still struggle to win this frame now. That red would have made the frame absolutely dead safe, but the way the balls are placed, if Steve Davis can get this last red and the black, could easily get a snooker.
That puts him 39 points in front. .42, and just the 6 colours to go.
And believe me, Ted, you'll be relieved to see that red go in.
Six. Nine.
Doug Mountjoy then retrieves his second frame. They share the first 4 frames this morning.
18. Doug Mountjoy, 18. On frame.
And Steve Davis concedes at that particular point. Doug Mountjoy retrieves his second frame, and the difference now, 12 frames to 10.
Well, Mountjoy there, I think, walking out to the interval which the players now have, a quarter of an hour or probably even more, that break there in this morning session which we're watching live, and I think he's probably a pretty happy man. I think in the back of his mind this morning he felt that he might start today like he started yesterday, when of course he lost the first 6 frames on the trot. Now, though he lost the first 2 today, there was much more positive nature about his play. His comeback with the last 2, just 2 frames in it now, 12-10. There are 4 more frames to play in this first session today, and of course it will definitely go on into a second session this afternoon when there are 9 more to play. So at 12-10, Steve Davis needs 6 more if he's to become the champion of the world, and it's a very different world final now from what it was yesterday. Intriguing match, and we're going to enjoy it throughout the day here. Well, as I say, the players now on an interval, but throughout this fortnight here, many famous faces have been dropping in to watch the snooker. It's a game that now attracts a very different nature of people, a wide variety of people. And one of the faces that dropped in a day or 2 ago was the man who commanded all the headlines for the Olympic Games in Moscow, the man who thrilled us with his tremendous performance on the track, the gold medalist Sebastian Coe. Well, we found him going around the building and watching the play, so we asked him to pop in here and talk to him about the game. And first of all, I asked Sebastian how long he'd been interested in this game of snooker.
Until it came to Sheffield a few years ago, not very interested at all. I mean, I've played very, very badly, but I enjoy the coverage here.
You say you played badly. There was a whisper going around that you were quite a fair player.
Well, I don't know where you heard that from.
I think somebody wanted to challenge you, actually. But what really is the fascination of the sport for you? You've been here quite a lot this week, and seen you sit in the press room and watching from the tables and things. What's the fascination of it for you?
I don't know. I mean, it's a bit of a cliche to say it's great theatre. It takes place in the theatre, but it's just a tremendous audience appeal, I think.
Taking a look at Steve Davis, who's roughly about the same age as you. I think he's, what, just about 6 months younger?
Something like that, yeah.
Do you Can you relate the pressures that he's been going through this fortnight to the pressures that you've gone through and will go through in your athletics career? I mean, take, for instance, the pressures that you had in Moscow.
There are obviously, you know, definite comparisons. With Steve, though, I mean, it's even, in a way, it's even tougher because he's out there virtually every day. And he has been for the last 2 weeks. At least with me in Moscow, it was sort of 6 races over a 2.5-week spell. And the races is little, you know, is much, much shorter than even a frame of snooker.
Yeah. Having gone through that sort of thing, do you actually feel for people? I mean, there's this fella out there, all the headlines have been about him, the favourite to come here to play. I mean, do you have any sort of relation of feeling when you watch him out there? Do you say, my God, I know what he's going through? Well,
in a way, he's under the same kind of pressure from the beginning of the tournament that I was when I went to Moscow, because he's so much a favourite here. The press have been tipping him for weeks and weeks, and all the articles seem to be about him. I think he's coped tremendously well with it. Consider that you know, he has had to cope with it for 2 or 3 weeks.
So you're saying it was probably worse before it all started. Once it started, it was all right.
I would guess that Steve probably finds it easier now he's into it than even the build-up beforehand.
You've looked, and I know you've studied quite a lot of players. In fact, I've seen you talking to Terry Griffiths. Is there any one particular player who sort of, I'm not asking to pick players as his favourites, but one you particularly admire for any particular reason?
Yeah, Terry, I suppose. I sat and chatted to him for about an hour and a half right at the beginning of the tournament. I was very impressed with, you know, just how cool the guy was. And you know, he seemed totally unruffled. And Steve Davis, of course, you know.
Yeah. You've got to admire him, haven't you?
Absolutely. I mean, he is so cool under pressure.
Well, there is talk about a challenge going on after the World Championship. How do you fancy that?
What, round the block?
Well, Sebastian Coe's saying that he wasn't much of a snooker player, but I'm not so sure about that, because a little while after that interview, we found him out here on our practice table. Take a look at this. And what about that? Well, John Spencer on hand. You're all going to say we cheated and John Spencer played the shot. He did. But just to show you how good a teacher John Spencer is, and that Sebastian Coe's not too bad, see what happened about 10 minutes later. This time, Sebastian Coe, we won't take the camera away, playing the shot. Watch the black ball, and he did it. Well done, sir. That might have a change of career in the athlete. There it is, Sebastian Coe, one of the famous people popping in to watch the snooker. He just lives around the corner, so he's had a bit of time just now and then to pop in amongst his training. And of course, we wish him luck, not just with his snooker, but with his athletics as well. Well, one man who's been giving us even more fun is a man who nightly here in the Crucible Theatre has been proving what the attraction of snooker is today. Not just the tension of the matches like we've been watching here, but the way in which different people play the game. Well, that man is John Virgo, the 1979 semi-finalist in the World Championship, who went on that same year to win the United Kingdom title.